So in one of the recent videos that I had done, I had talked about how you can configure NVim to make it a development environment for your .NET programming. And there were a few comments in that video where people were asking me how you can actually do debugging on .NET code using NVim. So that's precisely what this video is going to cover. We're going to talk about how we do debugging on .NET code using NVim. And so the plugin we are going to use for this video is called Vimspector. Now, if you don't know how to install plugins using Vim or NVim, there is an entire video that I have created on that topic, and I'll link that video in the description so that you can take a quick look at it. But for this video, I'm going to go ahead and assume that you know what Vim NVim is. You know how to basically work with Vim and NVim. You know how to set up a .NET development environment on it, and you know how to set up some basic plugins on Vim or NVim, and that you already have a plugin manager installed. With that in mind, let's quickly jump into our config folder, and let's go into our NVim folder inside our config folder, and let's quickly go ahead and open our init.vim file, which is our Vim initialization file. Now, one of the things that you'll notice out here in my plugin manager configuration is line 17, where I have basically installed the Vimspector plugin. So that's pretty much the line that goes ahead and installs the Vimspector plugin. Now, if you know from our understanding of how plugins work in Vim, the idea is that you basically give the GitHub repository URL without the github.com, just the directory part of the URL right here after the plug command, and the plugin manager should be able to go and fetch this Vimspector plugin given the GitHub URL, and it should be able to go ahead and install it in your NVim environment. So that's basically what we've done here. Now we have to remember that Vimspector is a debugging tool, and so there are going to be a lot of key bindings for different actions that you want to perform while debugging. One of the amazing things about Vimspector is it gives you some of these bindings out of the box in what it calls the human mode. So if we quickly just go ahead and search for the word human in this file, we should be able to find this line of code right here, which basically enables you to use human bindings inside Vimspector, and these are the default bindings that come in the human mode. So you see you have F5 for continuing debugging. So all of these bindings that you see, right, starting from F5, then there is F3 to stop debugging, and then there is F4 to restart debugging. So all of these bindings that you see out here are kind of pre-configured for you using this human mode right here. So with that done, let's quickly go ahead and get out of this file. This file is already configured, so let's go ahead and exit this file, and let's quickly go ahead and jump into the code folder where I have a basic hello world kind of application pre-configured, pre-written for us. So let's quickly jump into that, and let's quickly go ahead and take a look at what we have. Like I said, it's a standard hello world application with program.cs. So let's go ahead and open that, and this right here is a simple straightforward application where I have the customer class right here, and then we are just going ahead and creating an object of this customer class right here, and we're going ahead and setting some attributes of this object, and then we're going ahead and printing the first name that we've set, right? So nothing fancy, but this is a simple program that should help us illustrate how we do debugging using NVim. So before we kind of go into debugging, let's also take a look at how we configure debugging for .NET. Right, and this right here is the documentation that shows us how we can configure debugging for .NET Core. Now, one of the things that you'll discover here is that we use a plugin called Netcore DBG. Right, that's the plugin that we're using inside Vimspector. That's the adapter that we're using to do debugging. So let's use that command that the documentation was telling us to fire. So let's do Vimspector install Netcore DBG, and that should go ahead and install the adapter that we require to get the .NET debugging up and running inside of NVim. So now with that done, we have everything we require to start debugging .NET code. Now, one of the additional things that we're going to look at is this vimspector.json file out here, right? That's the file I require to set up my debugging launch settings. So if you take a look at this file right here, the first thing that you notice is that it basically says that I'm using Netcore DBG as my launch program, and that's also my adapter, right? So that's what I'm going to start using for debugging. The first request is going to launch the application, and the application that I'm going to launch is called helloworld.dll because that's the compiled version of the application. The other thing to remember out here is stop at entry parameter, right? Now this is true in this case, and when this value of this parameter is true, what Vimspector does is at the very first line of the code, when you start debugging, it automatically sets a breakpoint and breaks the code so that you can stop and then you can continue or step through or step into or do whatever it is that you want to do. So stop at entry is true. We're going to leave it at true. This is one of the basic files that you're going to need for debugging your .NET code, and I'm going to go ahead and put a link of this file in the description section so that you can download it from my GitHub repository, and then you can go ahead and modify it depending on the program that you are trying to debug. So with that done, let's quickly come out of this file and let's actually open program.cs again so that we can actually start some debugging now. So to start debugging, the first thing that you do is hit the F5 key, and you notice that we had used the stop at entry value to true so that it has set a breakpoint and it is kind of waiting for me at the very first line. One of the additional things that you'll realize out here is the window right here, which basically shows you all variables that are in the current scope. So right now we have these two variables in the current scope right here, and the value of that variable is null. But you notice as I go ahead and start debugging my code, and as I start stepping through my code by hitting F10 key, which is basically a key for step over, you'll notice the values of the variables in my local scope are actually getting set. So if I go ahead and expand my customer class, again you'll see that the variables are null because the first name and last name has not been set yet. But now let me quickly go ahead and hit the F10 key again and see the first name has now been set, F10 again, and the last name has been set, F10 again, and the age has been set. Basically anything that's in my local scope, I can monitor directly using that window right on top. And then we have this watches window here, which allows me to explicitly set watches. And to set a watch, I'll go ahead and fire the Vimspector watch command, right? And then I can go ahead and fire any watch expression. So let me just do customer.age out here, and you notice that I have set a watch on customer.age right here. Right now, if I wanted to, I could actually go ahead and set a watch on my entire customer variable. So let me go ahead and do that, and notice that here I've just created a watch on the entire customer variable. So let me quickly go down and expand this, and notice how the values of the entire customer variable are kind of visible. So two concepts here. One is the local scope, where I can see all variables that are in local scope, and then there is this concept of watches, where I can set explicit watches that I want to set while debugging. Now with that done, I could continue hitting F5 and I could just finish running the program normally, or I could stop my debugging in between and I could reset my debugger. So to quickly reset my debugger, let me go ahead and type Vimspector reset, and it will ask me if I want to terminate the debugger. So I choose yes, and essentially it has gone ahead and terminated the debugger for me. Right, so that's your quick overview of basic debugging. Now let's talk about breakpoints. The simplest way to kind of set breakpoints in this code is to come to the line where you want to set the breakpoint and essentially hit the F9 key. So notice this red spot out here. This basically indicates that the breakpoint has been set. With the breakpoint set, let me hit the F5 key. It breaks on entry. Let me hit F5 again. And now notice it quickly jumps directly to my breakpoint. And now if I come to my local scoped variables, I will be able to see that all the values of all the attributes of the customer class have been set. I can also go ahead and set a watch on customer age, and I can go ahead and set a watch on customer objects, just like I had done this before, and I can expand it. I can see all the views, but this time I'm doing it with a breakpoint. So I'm not stepping through every line of code. I just hit a breakpoint. I did F5 at starting point, and then I did F5 again, and I was able to hit a breakpoint and see the values of the variable there, look at my watches and do my debugging. And once I'm done, I just finish my program, see the output, and I should be able to reset my debugger and come out of my debugging mode. So that was all about debugging a simple console application. But how do you actually debug something like a web API or a website, right? So let's also take a quick look at that. I have an example of a simple website here. So let me switch to that folder. It's called Hello Website. And let's take a look at what's inside the folder by doing an ls-l. And you see out here that this is a simple web API, right? And this also has a Vimspector JSON, which I have written, pretty similar to the older one, except that instead of hello world, now the DLL to run is hello website.dll, right? Stop at entry is still true, so there is no difference there. And the file pretty much looks identical to what we had before, except that the DLL file name has changed, right? So let's quickly go ahead and open the source code here, and let's start looking at one of the controllers. So let's take a look at this weather forecast controller that ASP.NET creates for me by default when I make a hello web API, hello world web API. So let's quickly jump into any specific line of code that we want to debug, right? Let's set a breakpoint at line 16. Right, so let's quickly jump into line 16 and set a breakpoint there by hitting the F9 key. And with the breakpoint set, let's run the website by hitting F5 again. So the debugging environment starts off, and over a period of time, my website will start off inside Kestrel, and I will be given a URL that I can actually hit. So let's hit F5 again because it's waiting on the very first spot. We hit web F5 again, the website should just start off with the localhost URL, and this is my URL right here, localhost 5001. So let me just open a new window and let me quickly visit that URL, right? So let me just do localhost 5000 weather forecast. So this should actually go ahead and fire up the controller for me. Now notice that when I run this, my breakpoint and the controller that I had set is hit right here, and just like before, I am able to do my debugging. If I hit F10, I am able to kind of step over code, and I am able to continue with my code, and I can actually set watches here just like before. So notice the summaries variable. Let me quickly go ahead and set a watch on that summaries variable, and there it is. It comes right on the Vimspector variables window, and I can go ahead and expand this, and I should be able to see all 10 values of this variable that have been all 10 values of this array that have been set right in the code which was initializing this array. So that's your basic overview of how you actually go ahead and start debugging websites. They are pretty identical to debugging console applications, so no difference as such. And to finish debugging, you actually hit Vimspector reset, and you are able to come out of your debugging mode, and you are able to come back to your NVim, where you can continue with your coding. So pretty identical in terms of debugging capability, whether it's console applications, whether it's website, whether it's web APIs. Using this basic foundational concept, you should be able to debug anything that you want to debug in the .NET environment. So that's a quick overview. Of course, Vimspector has many more features. You have the concept of conditional watches, you have the concept of conditional breakpoints. All of those are things which you should be able to research. If needed, we can do another video on that, but at least this video should give you a quick overview of what you can do with Vimspector and how easy debugging .NET code in NVim is, right? So this is pretty much what we have for this video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.